Lavar from PTC, your Port Terra conglomerate here, an Australian industrial conglomerate organisation offering you everything from mining and salvaging products through to all your repair, rearm and refueling needs. We're here today with the first video in a small series to give you a heads up on piracy as a whole in SC and how to help minimize the risk of piracy on your operations. Now, piracy is real and employed in Star Citizen as a valid gameplay loop endorsed by the devs. There are well-known, well-organized groups that partake in this gameplay and are very well versed in it, as well as small groups of mates and the well-known roving murder hobos. This being said, miners and salvagers and haulers aren't powerless when it comes to countering or avoiding piracy. It should be remembered that the best pirates know their targets, and the best targets know their pirates. To begin with, the first video will cover piracy types in SC, notable orgs, and current trends and patterns, with the second going over the main anti-piracy measures, intel and counter-intel, route plotting and travel, interdictions and ambushes, and what to do when you eventually get interdicted or caught by pirates, with the third video covering negotiation strategies and some thoughts regarding the cargo refactor and how it might shake things up for people on both sides of the fence. When it comes to the major types of piracy, by and large we're looking at phenomena such as gatekeeping or toll gating, the proverbial XYZ station is locked down, pay me 50,000 and I'll let you pass, ship and rockjacking, shakedowns, ambushes, and interdictions. When it comes to known piracy orgs, we do need to draw a line between dedicated pirate orgs such as RDP and RAK in comparison to orgs that run under pirate flags or get bundled in as such, but are really more PvP groups that can verge towards grieferish in behavior, trolls or gankers. Some of mentions of the latter PvP orgs are groups in our experience such as WRL or White Rhino League, House of Lords, and lastly Das Guild. Red Eye Profiteers, at least in our experience, seem to be the most professional and well-organized piracy group in our experience within the Oz region and make it a point to honor their agreements should you actually negotiate with them. To this point, warning shots will be fired should you prove unresponsive to text or voice hailing, but without the intent to kill unless you prove unresponsive to these attempts to gain your attention. Their goal in the piracy attempt is to negotiate with you to receive a portion of your profits, or eventually, once we have the refactor, your cargo. Basically enough for them to make a gain, but so that they're not completely leaving you high and dry either. In that regard, they understand the nature of the game being a little bit unstable, what with it being in alpha and active development, and seem to be fairly willing to work with the would-be victims during said piracy to a point. Once cargo and or payment is sent through to RDP, they will let you live and leave you, allowing you to fly away mostly unharmed if you actually negotiate and come to a mutually agreeable solution. It should be noted that they are pirates who don't take kindly to those that re-out in combat log, instead of playing ball or approaching negotiations seriously. Should this happen repeatedly, they will remember your username in any org associations, possibly leading to a kill-on-sight response if they catch you again, if you do it enough times, with less than agreeable circumstances set up for subsequent negotiations with you or your org down the line in future altercations. When considering orgs or groups of people that can be bundled under the pirate flag but tend to fall more on the PvP trollish sort of side of things, it's important to note that their behavior and tactics typically lean towards more trollish and grieferish sorts of acts such as pad ramming, and in our view, setting honeypots for medics, always a bit of a less than great move, long-range dumb-firing torpedo shots onto landing pads from outside the ceasefire area, typically done at Port Olisar due to the lack of enclosed hangars, and lastly, camping refinery zones and slaughtering any and all ships that attempt to enter or leave said zones without any form of attempting to gatekeep. They are also not above combat logging when they realize the people they're up against are actually gaining the upper hand and could well beat them in the fight, or resorting to rams as well. As a whole, piracy is mostly, as far as we are aware, concentrated around the Golden Triangle, it being Lyria through to Arkel 1 through to Area 18 for obvious reasons, as well as the Hurston Moons due to the Laranite trade and the rock mining that is to be had there. A newer hotspot is the Crew L1 refinery, though this is more focused on shipjacking and stowaways, with an uptick in miners using this refinery to tap into the belt in order to get away from the increased piracy around the Golden Triangle. Seemingly as a response to miners and haulers who would rather re-out and combat log, pirates have added a new feather to their piratical caps. In addition to the traditional interdiction, station blockades, and infield shakedowns, they have also been attempting to board ships at Arco 1 and Crew 1 before they leave the hangars by dressing as NPCs and station staff. After all, it's somewhat difficult to bedlog or combat log if the pirates decide to tell the person that they've got on board your ship that they've determined you're not going to play ball and, well, to put that pistol to work. This will have added validity as a strategy to use once we've got the cargo refactor, and they're able to either sell the cargo from your ship or just load it onto one of their own. I hope you enjoyed today's video as part one of our little mini-series on piracy and its counters. If you've got any tips or tricks of your own, regardless of which side of the fence you're on, feel free to leave them down below. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to give her a thumbs up or subscribe if you really enjoyed it. This is Bavar from PTC, signing off.